Well, hello there. Welcome to the show. It's Pro Synth Network. We're live. It is January the 10th. Where is the year going? Already it's flying by. Episode 249. One away. I only realised this the other day. We're one away from the big 250, the quarter of a century. So looking forward to that one next week, where we'll probably have just as little news as we've had for the last couple of weeks. But I'm sure we'll be able to fill 2 hours. But we're definitely going to fill 2 hours this week because we have a very special guest. I'm sure you all know who that is, but we'll introduce them just a little while. Still waiting for Kent to show up. He's probably fallen asleep on the sofa with his dogs, as per. But fingers crossed he'll show up soon. But before we get to all of that stuff, let's just get all the boring housekeeping stuff out of the way. So first of all, if you haven't already, do give us a like. If you want to comment, please do. If you're watching live, comment in the live chat, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook or Twitch. You can comment on there. We'll see all of those. If you're watching after the fact, then you can leave a comment underneath the video on the platform that you're watching on, and we love to see your comments, so please do use that facility. If you haven't already, do give us a subscribe. It just boosts our ego a little bit and helps spread the word about the channel, and of course you get the benefit of having notifications every time we put some content up. And of course, if you know somebody who would enjoy this show but doesn't currently watch it, do share the link with them and invite them along every Friday night from 7 p.m. UK time for 2 hours of stuff about synths and what have you. So there you go. Like, comment, subscribe and share if you would. That would be fantastic. Of course, we bring this show to you. It's completely free of charge. You don't have to pay. But if you do want to support us, and it's not obligatory, but if you do, there are a number of ways that you can do so. The first, probably best way of doing it is to subscribe to us on our Patreon channel. And it's just a minimum flat fee. We don't have any tiers yet. We've not really sort of built up enough material, so it's just a flat fee, minimum $2 a month, and you can subscribe for as long as you want or as short as you want. You can subscribe for a few months and then take a few months off and come back again. There's no contracts or anything like that. It's just a little way of helping us do that. But what you get in exchange is fantastic. For example, let me just throw this onto the stage. Oh, here we go. This is a special offer for all of our Patreons on a brand new product. If you're running Ableton Live, Potato Audio, brilliant name for a company, that Potato Audio have just released Choplifter. And Choplifter it kind of does what it says on the tin. It chops your audio up into rhythmic sections and then you can mess around with it. It's very, very cool. And Chris, aka MIDI Error, who is one half of the team at Potato Audio, pinged me a message during the week and said, would your customers or would your patrons like some money off? And I said, oh, not half. And he said, exactly, it's half. And so he's giving us 50% off. So if you are a Patreon member, all you got to do is just check out the page and you'll get the code and you can enter that in and you get 50% off. So thank you ever so much to Chris at Potato Audio. Go and check out the video at least and see what it's all about. But it doesn't end there, because if you're not a Patreon member, which you should be, but if you're not, it doesn't matter, because Chris said, tell you what, for everyone else, here's 30% off. So there's the code on the screen right now, ProSynth Network Potato 30. Copy that down. Go to their website, enter that in at the checkout, and you'll get 30% off. So you don't even have to be a Patreon to save some money, but you'll save more if you are. Of course, the other thing that you get with Patreon is a whole bunch of other content, such as synth patches and video content exclusives. There's stuff from Andrew in there. There's stuff from me in there. And there'll be more stuff. There's patches from James Dyson and patches from Mark Barnes and other people, free patches for your software synths or your hardware synths. These are the things we like to give you in exchange for your support and helping us keep the channel going. So that's Patreon. That's one way that you can support us. Of course, the other way you can do it is through YouTube membership, and it's exactly the same deal. It's minimum $2. You can be a member for as long or as little as you like. You'll get all the same free stuff. So those people who are YouTube channel members got the same notification 3 days ago about Potato Audio's offer. They got the same code. So you can use that and get 50% off if you're a YouTube channel member as well. So 2 great ways of supporting us to help keep the channel going. The other way you can do it is through Super Chat and Super Stickers in the YouTube chat. But of course, none of this is obligatory. You don't have to do it, but if you would, you can, and we love you for it. So thank you very much for that. We are across most of the social media channels. We gave up X, a big dumpster fire that it is, but we're on YouTube, Facebook, Blue Sky, Twitch, Instagram, Threads, and bizarrely still on TikTok. But there you go. Excuse me. So that is where you can find us. Facebook's probably the best place to do it. If you have a question during the show, to anyone that's on the show, or just in general, and stick a big capital Q in front of it, and that way we can see it a lot more clearly, and then put it over to the side, and we'll come to it as and when we are available to do so. We'll also tell you a little bit about Synthspirations a little bit later in the show. We've got a great one from AD Vision coming up a little bit later, but we'll tell you how to enter into Synthspirations later on, but we've got one of those coming up as well. And I do believe that is everything that we need to go through in the housekeeping section. That's killed 8 minutes. And we've got an hour and 50 something to go, and we've got a wonderful guest to fill that time with. Before we get to her, let's bring in the other reprobates that we have in the show. First of all, Mr. Andrew Longhurst.
Oh, I am a reprobate.
How are you?
How are you all?
I'm good. How are you?
No one's replying to me. No one's saying anything. I don't know.
Are they?
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. There was I busy doing things and stuff. Anyway, hello, good evening. I hope you've all had a great week. How's your week been, Mr.
Mine's been varied. It's been up and down, but mostly down. But the good news is my back is feeling a lot better today. It was bloody awful yesterday.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing that it's feeling better. It's that sort of week in January where it feels like January is going to last another 17 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basically one long Monday, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Monday for 31 days.
Apart from tonight, where you get us, you poor buggers.
Indeed.
But, do. I was going to ask you, I know you're about to bring Kent in. I didn't... Did we ever get into doing anything, any kind of merch or anything?
Oh, of course I can. How could I completely forget about the merch?
I just wondered, because...
That's bonkers. Because the other thing, the thing with the merch is that we've got a sale on. It's January, and we have a sale. It's the January sales. So let me just bring this up onto screen. Here we go. Here's our merch store. You can buy Justin Have You vest tops, mouse mats, baseball caps, leather jackets, denim jackets, mobile phone cases, beanie hats, hoodies, T-shirts. Look at those lovely T-shirts. The Keith in Watford orange T-shirt. Mugs, water bottles. We've got the Christmas jumpers. Obviously, we've missed Christmas this year, but if you buy them now, then you won't have to worry about it at Christmas. And literally everything in the store is 15% off for the month of January. So now is the time. If you're looking for, you've got space on your flight cases for your synths, and we all like to put stickers on our flight cases. I do, or your rack cases. There you go. There's a sheet of stickers for just about £8. Lots of different sizes and colours. There's the zip-up hoodie that was a customer request, so we did that for you. There's the cartoon mugs, the cartoon T-shirts, the ladies' dresses. I know somebody bought one. I've yet to see somebody wearing one.
I can't get it on.
No, okay. Yeah, I probably wouldn't want to see that.
No.
Either. It's not a pretty sight.
Did we have a fleecy hoodie?
There are fleecy hoodies with embroidered or printed logos.
I think I might have to get one of those.
This is Simon Tucker's. This is Simon Tucker's studio.
Wow.
I mean, look at the gear in that, but also look at that wonderful ProSynth Network mug.
That's where my eye went to naturally.
There you go. And the creature, I like his little mug rest there. He's making good use of non-slip material and wedge-shaped objects to give him a level surface on his Montage M8X.
And what's that in his mug?
It's a rabbit, I think. Huh? I'm sure Simon will tell us. But there you go. So you can buy merchandise, and it's all 15% off for the month of January. You don't have to do anything. Just pick your objects, sling them in your basket, and 15% will be deducted off the total order, not including the shipping. Dog collars, the lot, everything. Yeah, so thanks for reminding me for that. Lovely, lovely jubbly. Let's bring in Spong. Where is he? So he always does this. See, when you come in late, I have to do this, and then I have to do that.
Oh, sorry.
It's an extra click.
Well,
God damn
okay.
you.
Well, I have a rant for you then.
Oh, go on then.
If you spend
Something's on fire.
me. If you
Go
spend somewhere in the region of £3,000 on a computer, you expect the on button to fecking work when you push it, don't you?
Yes.
I have spent 45 minutes trying to get my MacBook Studio to turn on.
Your MacBook Studio or your Mac Studio?
My Mac Studio.
Sorry,
I call
I'm
it
being
a
facetious.
book. I call it a MacBook because
Maybe
it's
that's
just
your problem.
shit.
Oh dear.
Oh yes, 45 minutes trying to get a bloody computer to turn on.
And how did you get it to turn on in the end?
Well, I've hit it quite hard and it seems to have
okay.
worked, but I don't know about turning it off now.
Okay.
I may have to leave it on permanently.
Well, that's not a problem. They're designed for that. So.
Well, I mean, the cheapest thing in that is the little tack switch. I mean, for God's sake.
Dear, oh dear.
You know? I mean, I mustn't get too upset because...
Yeah, try not to.
Yeah, I mean...
At your age.
My granddad was killed by a Zulu.
Okay.
Yeah, he was at Whip's
So
Navy
I
and
thought
the
you were
toilet
gonna
roof fell in on him.
Zulu. That's. I don't know whether that deserves one of those or one of those
I have no idea.
or this. Yeah,
Well, all I know is that when you push those buttons, they work.
they do. Yeah, good buttons those. So you got the Mac Mini going as well.
Yes, yes.
And have you got a wider angle going on?
No.
Oh, okay. Have you moved your camera?
You seem to have
Yeah,
a lot
2
more
weeks
light
ago.
there
Thanks for
now.
noticing.
There's a light. Look, you've got a lot more light.
Yeah.
You can actually see the
Well,
seaboard.
is that a burning ring of fire?
It is. This is the seaboard.
Ring of fire.
Lovely. Anyway, good to see you.
Thank you.
But we've got a guest, and we're being rather rude because we're
We are.
leaving her hanging. But I'm sure she's fine.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah. And we've got I can't get my arms to do the thing. Look, we've
You
the
spelt
Matrix
rap
Pro-
wrong.
Yeah, I've got that ready for the one and the only, the fantastic Dina Pearlman. Everybody, yay! How you doing, Dina?
I am well.
Good.
Yes, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. How are things in your part of the world?
Well, my part of the world is very cold. But I have no
it must be.
complaints.
Yeah.
I have no complaints at all. To be quite frank, I've been very preoccupied with our dear friends, brothers and sisters on the West Coast, and it's been on my mind constantly. And
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's. I mean, even over here, it's it's the headline news everywhere here at the moment, and like you said, in this community, we have many friends out there, manufacturers, musicians, developers, just friends as well. All out there. So we're thinking of all of them right now. It's a tough time.
It's a really tough time, and been keeping in touch with just about most of the regulars that you see here.
Yeah.
And keeping Anthony Marinelli's okay. There's a lot of people are okay, but it seems to be happening. It can change on a dime right now. So
Yeah.
we're all just really holding our breath and
That's it.
yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So, we definitely want to reiterate those words that anybody that is out there, we're thinking of you. If we can do anything to help, good to see Manny here because I know he posted a picture just yesterday that things had kind of got a bit close to him, but thankfully blowing in the other direction. But our friends Math and Tara from I Speak Machine, they got out a few days ago, but at the moment, I think their property is okay, but they're out and they're safe. And I just love the picture that Math posted up of them loading up, and it was just all synthesizers that were going into the boot of their car. It was great. So yeah, absolutely. So I hope those two, and of course the lovely Strelka the dog, I hope they're all safe. And I spoke to Sean Weitzman from Arturia because he lives out there. He's fine. There's a few other people that are fine, but I did see in the news just before we came on, apparently Bob Clearmountain, his studio gone.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, geez.
Which is, and it's not. He's not the only one. There are others as well. But that was the one that sort of popped up in my feed just before we came on, and it's really disappointing. Really sad to hear. But ultimately, as long as the humans are okay and the animals are okay, possessions, they can be eventually replaced. Some more than others.
Just on that note, this is a real quickie. No one knows I'm going to say this, but I've got a meeting next Thursday in London with the principals of a company who provide cloud-based workstations. Now, they cost a decent amount, but they've got everything on them. We're talking about how we might be able to help some of our esteemed colleagues in the area if they haven't got a machine and they need one to do it, at no charge. We're just trying to work out something. So I've got a meeting with them next Thursday. Hopefully I'll have some news by Friday of next week.
Yeah, and there was I'm going to try and find it because I did mean to copy it. No, Dina, you sent me
I sent you a list of links. Those are general links for people that need help, where to donate money if you are so inclined. I also would love to help any musician that doesn't have access to equipment right now. While we can't give equipment because we really don't have it, we do have recording facilities in our part of the woods, which if you reach out to me, I'm happy to set you up with. And we also have access to a variety of wonderful VST licenses that I'm happy to share and give away if necessary, if that's any kind of help for musicians. So trying to think of ways to ways to help out our community.
I will try and there's a musicians organization that are giving funds to other musicians to help them just get sorted. I will try and find that link. If I can't find it during the show, I'll post it up into our Facebook page and social media. But also I have posted that link that you sent to us there, thecut.com. There's a link on the screen, but it's also in the chat, and we'll repost that a little bit later. So if you're looking to help, there's lots of people out there that a lot of people think that they're living in LA, California, they're loaded. No, it's not like that at all. The huge majority of people there, living a lot of the time hand to mouth, hardworking, low paid, and we need to help these people because they've lost literally everything. If their property hasn't gone, maybe their workplace has gone, or both.
Just to reinforce that, I know a lot of people out there who rent their houses, and they earn an extraordinary amount of money, but they earn it because they can't live there if they don't.
Exactly.
So all the money they earn goes into literally rent and whatever. Now that they've lost their property and their equipment, they're destitute. These aren't people who are super, super rich. Don't matter that it's LA. People need help. So do if you can, give them the help they need. Do.
Absolutely. Right, there we go. So thank you, Viral Beats. He's just gifted 5 ProSynth Network memberships. I don't know who's got them, but if you've got them, you've got Viral Beats to thank. Thank you so much, my friend, for doing that. And Andrew Longhurst has donated the regular show number amount to the fund. Thank you. Thank you very much. So let me just get rid of that banner off the screen. We'll pop that up a little bit later.
Yeah.
So the main reason, or the main topic for the show, is this wonderful lady here that we have with us, who is one of the most important ladies in synthesizer history preservation and legacy promotion. I think maybe that's I think that covers it.
That was good. That was
a
good
legacy
off the cuff.
promoter. That's a new title.
Legacy promoter. Yeah, absolutely. Because what Dina does is she runs the foundation, the Alan R Pearlman Foundation, and I'm sure you all know, but in case you didn't, Alan R Pearlman was Dina's father, and it's his 125th. It would have been his 125th birthday this year.
Just 100.
Oh, just 100. Sorry,
just 100.
Where did I get the 25 from then, or is it on the 20? No, I don't. Anyway, sorry, 100.
2025. 1925?
It could have been. Yeah, I've got my numbers.
2,500? It's a good number.
It's a good number. It is. It's a very good number. So, it would have been his 100th birthday this year. Sorry, Alan. I didn't mean to age you by 25 years.
Kent's age.
Kent's age, yeah. That's what it was. So, in honour of that, there's lots of things going on this year, and of course,
yes.
to do that, we need to support organisations like the Alan R Pearlman Foundation to do that, and we can support them in many different ways. And we'll come on to how we can support the Alan R Pearlman Foundation in just a moment. But of course, we need to talk about all the wonderful things that you've got planned. So we want to tell everybody about this. So Dina's very kindly provided me a list here, and there's a couple of things on here that certainly for people in the UK should be getting very excited about. I certainly am. But the first thing is compilations organised by Steve Roach.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about this.
Yes, so this is really exciting. The compilation idea had come up several times in the past few years, and I had recently met Steve Roach through mutual friends, and I actually got to see a wonderful ambient church at St. Anne's in Brooklyn a few months back, and he suggested a compilation in honor of my father's centennial celebration. And I mean, how fantastic is that?
Yeah,
usually you want to ask these wonderful musicians and you're kind of quaking in your shoes. Like, is this going to, I guess all they can say is no, but to have him suggest it. And not only that, he's helping with a lot of the aspects of it that are a little bit past my pay grade. So, so we are aiming for a summer release, probably late summer. We will have details available. It'll be on the website, but we're going to send out a call for artists, and we're also hoping to work with a variety of artists, both people who have made their wonderful sounds and music with ARPs in the past and people who are doing it now. So the idea is to span the past 50 odd years and not just be focused on the past and new stuff, but meld them together, which in a way is what we're all about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And will this be a physical release or a digital release?
That's a really good question. So it will be both. We will have a selected group of tracks for a physical release. It'll be, I don't want to say it's going to be a limited edition. We haven't quite got to that phase yet.
Sure.
But we will be doing selected tracks. We expect that there's going to be a lot of interest in being part of it. So in order to be able to make it both tenable and affordable to produce, we will probably just have a portion of that in the physical CD, and then a lot more in our Bandcamp, and have several volumes. So
sure.
It's very, very exciting.
Have you considered doing a vinyl release?
Yes. Nothing is off the board, but probably not something we're going to do at the moment. It's very costly, as I'm sure most of you are aware of. And when it comes to distribution and this and that, it seems like it'll be a big challenge. So I would say that is something that could be considered in the future. Okay. But for the time being, we're going to have it a CD and digital release.
Sounds good. I mean, if you do a vinyl release, I'll buy it. So you got one customer, but there you go.
Okay.
Because that's my thing. And certainly as I was telling Andrew before we came on there, and you probably heard, my digital music server crashed the other day, and I seem to have lost my entire digital music collection, which makes me happy that I've got a big physical collection too, so I've still got something to listen to. But yeah, definitely would love to hear that, whether it's on vinyl, CD or digital download. So that's really good. That's very exciting. Now, of course, NAMM is supposed to be hopefully going to go ahead as per towards the end of this month, and this year you're back again. What have you got to do at NAMM? Have you got anything special on your stand other than yourself?
Yeah, I don't even know where to start. There's so many exciting things that are planned. Providing that it will all be going as planned, we are going to be kicking it off with a Tech Track session. If you haven't been to NAMM before, Tech Tracks is educational technology seminars that happen, and we are working in conjunction with Korg for this particular panel, and it's all about sound design. It's called Art Behind the Screens.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And this is focusing on sound effects, sound design, whether it's for television, adverts, movies, gaming. You know, there's a whole host of the media that use sounds, as we all know, and not just albums, not just recordings, but to work in conjunction with moving image. And so this is the topic we're going to be focusing on and exploring. And there is a really interesting, poignant part of this, and that is that my father loved the movies. Avid moviegoer. The first movie I remember ever seeing with my dad was 2001: A Space Odyssey. So, so geeks at an early age. I think I was 5 or something when he took me to see it. And so the fact that we're focusing on the movies, I think, has a special meaning in the idea of celebrating, who my dad was.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else that's going to be on? Have you got any special instruments on the stand this year? Anything like that?
Well, again, providing everything works out as planned, we're going to have a pretty interesting setup. We're going to have a little brother connected to a Odyssey.
Nice.
We'll have an Omni. Let's see, an Axe, vintage 2600.
Big stand then.
Yeah, well, we'll have 2 stands. The vintage 2600 will probably be tabletop.
Okay.
And then we'll have a multi-level, concert type stand with multiple synthesizers on it. And of course, we usually have headphones because it's quite cacophonous there. And we're going to be in a really interesting section. We're going to be right next to Groove Synthesis.
Oh, they're cool. Bob's a cool guy.
Yeah, which I think is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to, maybe we can connect them. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so we're going to have a wonderful array of instruments there. And we're also going to have a couple little impromptu demonstrations. We're going to have one of our new board members. We haven't made an official announcement yet, but I will making that announcement right before NAMM. We'll be connecting his Eurorack to the 2600.
Nice.
This is furthering a wish that a few of us have had to bring in the old and the new. So connecting modern modular, DIY, and Eurorack to the classic modulars.
Cool. That sounds really nice. I don't know how much you want to go into this, but I understand you've got an interesting view across the hallway this year's NAMM. There's maybe somebody across the hallway.
Oh yeah, there'll be a tribe there.
A music tribe.
Music tribe.
Look at that. Yeah, get that. That's going to be fun. Take pictures. I want to see. I wish I could be there. I really, really do.
The fly on the wall. Maybe we'll have a cam, like just a cam sitting there, and
that'd be cool. Yeah. We generally have a roving reporter, Andy Synth Addict, who's one of our moderators. He always goes, and I think he's going this year, and he always takes his mobile camera rig, and he generally gives us a walk around if we can get him on the show during the day. So we'll ask him to go over and maybe give us a bit of a live stream and a bit of a pan and scan around your neck of the woods.
Well, even better, he's going to be hanging out at the booth with us for a day.
Oh, cool. That's going to be good. Excellent. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Conrad in the chat wants to know, are any of these things going to be planned to be streamed or recorded? Are you like the seminars and the talks that you're giving?
That's a very good question. I don't know the parameters of allowances of streaming. It's supposed to be an in-person event. I know that Anthony Marinelli and I were talking about recording the panel.
Okay.
Though we have to be a little careful because we'll be showing clips beforehand of movies, and we'd have to get about 40 different copyright.
There's ways around that. We can talk about that, Dina. There's ways around. No, seriously.
I want to know.
Yeah, we can have a chat about that. You should record the talk, though. Record as much as
We're going to record the talk, and we will record but as far as streaming, I'm not sure if that's allowed, and I definitely will find out about that. It's a great question.
You may not have
we will, however, definitely have the possibility of doing some live nice. Streaming, probably more in the impromptu iPhone category. Again, I'm going to see what Anthony's folks can do, because they're wonderful. Ben and oh my God, I just spaced on his name.
His son.
Yes.
Yeah, Dante.
Thank you.
Well done.
Yeah, I'm not the person you ever want introducing someone impromptu on camera. I'll just freeze up. Dante. Yeah, they're going to be there with their media setup. So
yeah, nice.
I'm going to have Anthony come to the booth and talk a little bit about his new course, which is being taught on what else in our
course 2600 with our very own Dr. Manny Fernandez as consultant as well.
Yeah,
that's good.
So and there'll be a few other small demonstrations, in people coming to the booth and doing some fun things. So we will try to get all those online, if not during, definitely in the not too long aftermath. So.
Yeah, excellent. No, I've desperately wanted to go to NAMM simply just to tick it off the list. I know it's maybe not quite the same as it used to be, and Superbooth is more synthesizer oriented than that, but it's still. I love going to California. I love going to LA, and then I love music shows. So it's kind of like, all of those things I love to do. It's just at the beginning of the year. It's the time of year when money is tightest because you've just come out of Christmas and everything. So maybe, I need to set up some sort of budget for. Maybe we'll try for next year. Some humorous comments coming in on the chat. So James Dyson says, "Oh no, they're going to clone Dina," followed up with. The Behringer Dina available in shops in 2047. To which Manny Fernandez responded, "The Dina Pearlman." Oh dear. That would be funny. That would be funny. Also, this is quite pertinent. Tempo Roboto, welcome back. Good to see you in the chat. Greetings from LA. I'm blessed to be in a safe zone. And as far as I know, NAMM and Buchler and Friends are still. And of course, Buchler and Friends is another show that's just happening a short distance away. So that'd be a lot of people getting probably more excited about that than NAMM.
That's more like Superbooth, isn't it?
Yeah, but on a on a smaller scale.
Scale.
Yes, but it's definitely focused, isn't it? Yeah. And we need to say thank you to Cornish Waves Music. Thank you very much indeed for your £3 donation. Super stickered. Thank you very much indeed for that. So that's NAMM. And there is something else to do with NAMM, because you're doing something maybe in August, which is like a concert event, and that's going to be held at the NAMM Museum of Making Music.
Yes, we are going to have a big save the date press release coming out in the next few weeks, because we have several events. It's not just just NAMM. The idea was to have an 18-month focus on my father during the time that would be considered his centennial. So technically, he was born in June 7th, 1925.
That's where I got the 25 from. Yeah. 1925. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted.
And but because of NAMM, and because we want to start getting people's calendars organized and getting awareness out, we're starting to tell people about the stuff earlier. And we're going to be having an exhibit with a panel and concert at the NAMM Museum, which is in Carlsbad. Carlsbad, California, not New Mexico.
Have you got any artists lined up for the concert?
That I'm going to keep quiet right now about. So a few people have given their okay, but we need to get into some organization. And naturally, nobody wants to organize anything to do with NAMM until after the NAMM show. So we're trying to keep the two different events, compartmentalized just for sanity's sake.
Yeah. For those of us that don't live in the area, Carlsbad obviously was where the museum is. How far is that from Anaheim? Just to kind of, is it close by?
Carlsbad is much closer to San Diego.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty far. It's pretty far south. I mean, both of them are very, very close to the Mexican border.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, cool. Okay, lovely stuff. Amanda Chowdhury in the chat. I lost it now. Here it is. She'll be at now, dropping by both the ARP and the Tri booths too. So it'd be good to see. And Amanda makes great content, great reviews, great demonstrations, and look forward to the stuff that she brings
definitely
back.
come by and say hi.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's this the concert, and you're going to be doing that also somewhere closer to home as well.
We will be doing a concert, similar event, but it will be structured, of course, very differently at EMIAP.
Nice, that's cool.
And that looks like it's going to happen right on my dad's birthday on June 7th.
Oh, wow.
We're going to have again, and the other event is on August 16th, the one in Carlsbad.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So we will be sending out as many notifications to save the date as possible. It's a lot to get organized, and so.
So the one on your dad's birthday, that just sounds really special. That would be really great to get that streamed if you possibly can. And do you have any thoughts about anyone that you might, or what you might be doing there?
Without
you don't have to share it.
But in trouble. I did recently get actually on my way home from my day job to here, I got a interesting text from a friend of mine who plays in one of the Funkadelic bands. So
cool.
Yep.
That's very cool.
I also have a friend who is a jazz keyboardist and synthesist who specializes in a lot of weather report type music. I'm hoping that we'll be able to get him involved. But we're gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. And what I suggest is that you subscribe to our newsletter, which is called Arpeggio.
Yep.
And perhaps also to our social media posts. Because we will be sending stuff out as soon as we have all of the details down.
So there you go.
There we
you got
go.
to do, get to the Alan R Pearlman Foundation.org website. There you go, and you just click on sign up, and there's Arpeggio, and you just sign up and get all the details there. Look at that.
I've just popped it in the chat.
There we go. Cool.
Yeah, that's the best way to find out about everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Especially now that it seems like there's a lot of people saying goodbye to Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Does seem like the old guard as far as social media is falling by the wayside, and maybe that's a very good thing. We shall see.
Dina, in addition, you've talked about NAMM and you've talked about EMIAP and you've talked about the NAMM Museum. Are you doing anything anywhere else in the world? Because I heard a little whisper on the grapevine you might be in Europe for some of this time over the next 18 months.
The definite is for Synthfest UK in Sheffield.
Yay!
I had such a good time there the last time. I have to go back. You just have to make sure that your trains don't go on strike that week, please.
Yeah, that was a bummer. That was, but Rupert to the rescue.
Yes.
What is it with you and guys called Rupert? Hey,
Sorry.
What is it with you and guys whose name is like Rupert and Ruperto?
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah. But it was great to meet him. What a legend. And he saved
For those of people who don't know who he's talking about about Rupert Greenall from
Rupert
The
Greenall,
Fix.
The Fix. Yeah. Honestly, I mean, what a man whose face and music I've listened to for. I've not listened to his face. I've seen his face and listened to his music. And then you say, "Oh yeah, my friend Rupert," and I just didn't. And then you turn up with Rupert Greenall. Wow.
Am I right in thinking that whilst you're over here, you might make it to the Rupert Spong summer barbecue? Is that right, Rupert Spong?
Yeah. Oh yes. Well, We have all the faces coming, as you know. Yeah. Anyone who is anyone will be there, as you know.
Have you got a date for it yet?
No, I have not bought any date. I bought an apple, two bananas, but I bought no dates yet.
It's going to be around Synthfest though, so that Dina can come.
I'm gonna pick a warm day when Uber are on strike.
But remember, Synthfest is
Or the
in
sun
October,
doesn't
so it's
come
going to
up.
be warm. Yeah.
No, it's going to be on a warm day, so
Force
it'll
me
be
to have to
summer.
figure out driving.
Yeah.
I need it. I will need an Uber for sure.
It's the round thing in front of you. Keep your hands on that, you're fine. Honestly.
Oh, but yeah. So you what are you going to be doing at Synthfest? Can you tell us?
Sure. I'm going to be doing a lecture.
Ooh.
Cool.
And I am again. There's. I found out that with all the good intentions in the world of trying to plan things way in advance, it doesn't happen the way you think it's going to happen.
No.
So the short thing is a lecture. I will definitely be exhibiting.
Cool.
I have a couple of ideas about a couple of demos that could happen, but I need to make sure that the people involved are amenable to such ideas. So.
Yeah. Excellent.
But I'm reworking a lecture that I did at Synthplex a few years ago,
Yes.
which focuses a lot on my dad, because I realized that a lot of people don't know much about him, who he was, what he enjoyed. And there's a lot of interesting things that people that are interested in synthesizers, whether it's music or technology or both, would find fascinating that actually have nothing to do with synthesizers, such as his work in NASA with NASA.
Yeah, that bit I know very little about, but I'm really keen to find out.
Well, that's one of the reasons why. Can I do a show and tell?
Of course.
Yeah.
Look at that.
See this? I don't know.
Go.
Yeah, fantastic. Gemini module and
Yeah.
2500.
So he worked on op amps, and the op amp technology is one of the ways that he's integrated his already existing patents and work into synthesis.
Wow. Very cool.
And I know
that
someone's going to ask me something technical I'm not going to be able to answer.
Without being technical, I think what you're saying is that your dad, the way your dad was using op amps and his engineering skills, contributed to the moon missions in some of the equipment and things they put together. Is that right?
That's right, especially stabilizing temperature.
Oh well.
Oscillators stay in tune. Yeah.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So that's why the little globe thing on.
Yeah. Is that available on the website now?
This calendar is available on the website.
Awesome.
And I've been able to. It has all sorts of biographical things about my dad.
Oh, that's cool.
And one of the things that I finally figured out is if I do it through a certain company, Vistaprint, I can get them shipped directly to UK or from that hemisphere.
Yeah, printed and shipped from here.
So trying to figure out all sorts of different ways that are cost effective.
Yeah.
It definitely seems like it's harder to ship things now than ever.
Isn't it? Yeah. Isn't it? It's just terrible. I mean, that's why we were so late in doing our merchandise store. In case anybody forgot, we've got a merchandise store.
Printful is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and we use a company now that prints and uses printers and manufacturers everywhere. So I got a T-shirt from a guy called Synth Samurai who watches our show, and he uses the same platform. He very kindly sent me a T-shirt that I ordered through the platform, and it came from a UK manufacturer, UK printer, so it was nice and cheap and affordable, and it's very good stuff. But it's difficult to find, so good on you. So that's the calendar available on the website, which
the link seems to be a little weird at the moment, so if you want to just have a look at that, Dina, but I'm sure
I think
it will
if you go to there you go,
click on it.
that takes it to a category of fun stuff, but I couldn't find it in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go. It's in books, calendars, and prints, I suppose. There we go. Books, calendars. There we go.
There we go. Boom. Excellent.
I'll just throw that into the chat.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to fire the webmaster.
Terrible. Who is the webmaster? Remind me.
Me. Well, for 90% of it, I have some wonderful volunteers been assisting me since the beginning, and.
But what I love about these calendars is, and because Michelle does them as well for the BMF, but they're useful, but also because you've got these wonderful sort of the other side of the calendar, you've got these wonderful prints of information. You can, if you're very careful, you can just detach those, and then you can put them in a small frame and put them on the wall.
Can I show you the cutest thing of all?
Oh, here we go. There we go. Oh, look at that! Yeah.
My dad did this. He did it in AutoCAD. Alan did this.
Nice.
That's why you've got the curly hair.
Yeah.
I'm always in shock. Is that what you mean?
The electricity. Yeah, exactly that. Can I ask you a question, Dina?
Please.
Say no.
So,
It's not the capital of Peru again, is it?
Yeah, what's the capital of Peru? No, so, I mean, you're looking after. You are essentially the core of the foundation, the Alan R Pearlman Foundation. You're doing 90% of the work on it. You've got all these things you want to do, and your dad was. We've talked a lot about Bob Moog, but also your dad, Alan, was just as influential in every possible way to the birth of synthesis and its adoption and its use and the way it's proliferated throughout all of our creative lives and created whole industries almost. And I was just wondering, you're doing 90% of this work. You mentioned that you've got a day job as well. So it's not like you're doing this with riches upon riches piled upon it and it's some sort of fancy. You're doing this because you're honouring your dad and because I know that the foundation is doing exceptional work with education and a whole bunch of other things. Can you tell us a little bit about this? Because I don't know how you find the time.
Maybe I have been cloned and I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
First of all, there are some wonderful boots on the ground people around me and the board, and I would be remiss if I did not mention them. We have amazing volunteers that have just been selfless in their assistance and their advice. So I couldn't have done it without them. It did start. I mean, the foundation started in 2019, but our activities didn't start until NAMM 2020, if you remember. And then within a month and a half of that, we were under lockdown. During lockdown, of course, it was very hard to have the kind of fundraisers that I visualized. I thought we would have, the black tie event where, $1,000 plate kind of. I'm delusional, obviously, but but as soon as I realized that we were not going to be able to do the kind of things that I was hoping we would do to raise money, because the original impetus was, to get my father's legacy to be in the lexicon of pioneers, because I felt at the time it really wasn't. I would Google him and there was very little material on him.
You're right.
But I also wanted to get a scholarship. I was very naive. I didn't realize what it takes to get a scholarship at the time, because I figured, this is one way people could learn about who he was. There will be an Alan R Pearlman scholarship at Berkeley or his alma mater, which is Worcester Polytech. It's all going to be good. They're going to know about him and my work is done. But it takes a lot to get a scholarship. It's probably would be one of the hardest endeavors we would have to do. And I'm not going to give up. It's something that I will see through at some point. But I did have a lot of time on my hands because I could manipulate my work schedule. I could work in the morning on the foundation until 9 o'clock. So I had, 2 extra hours that I wasn't getting ready to get to work and driving to work. So as soon as, so I could just stop, you know,
Yeah.
7 to 9, I'd be working on the foundation. 9 to 4, I'd be working for, the college that I work at. And then right after that, I could go back to it. So it came out of a time where
2 hours before you went to work, you're working on the phone. I just drink coffee and go, who am I for 2 hours? And then
it's the nonstop brain activity that wakes me up. Like, okay, so can't get it done lying in bed. Got to get up.
Yeah. Indeed.
So yeah, a lot of it's just done like that. I do it before, do it during my lunch hour. I'm creative ways to make time work for you. And the other again is that I've had wonderful help. So many people donating instruments, repairing instruments, advising me on things that I didn't know before. I mean, yes, I grew up going to NAMM, but I certainly never had to organize a booth before, for instance. I was, much shorter than I am now when I was going to NAMM, and I'm pretty short as it is. So, so that's really it's kind of catch as catch can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, but you what you have done, and you should be absolutely proud of this. Since you started the foundation, Alan's name is everywhere now. Everybody knows who Alan is, what he did, what his legacy is, how we should be incredibly grateful, and as grateful to him as we are to all the other major synth luminaries over the last 50, 60 years. So you've certainly done that, and I'm sure you will continue to do so. So bravo to you.
Thank you
for doing that.
Thank you for asking.
Absolutely. Whilst you've been talking, I have been listening, but I've also found this information that I said that I would share with everyone because it is important to help those people that are currently going through it in LA. The Recording Academy and Music Cares have pledged $1 million to support musicians impacted by the Los Angeles fires. And you can also donate to that as well if you want to. But if you are a musician in the Los Angeles County area, you can apply for relief over at the Music Cares website. Let me just throw that page. There it is. Let me just get rid of the cookie thing. So if you need help, there's the organization. I'll put that link in the chat. If you're in that area and you are in need, or you know somebody who might be, then please share that information with them. And as Aquatic Borealis has said in the chat, LA has a lot of musicians, so there's a lot of people out there. We're not talking about the people we see in the in the headlines all the time. We're talking about the jobbing musicians, the session musicians, the producers, the engineers, the cable runners, all of this kind of stuff.
The road crew, everyone.
These people are going to be seriously in need of some help, and it is not just help for in terms of work, but there's mental health help, there's health services, human services, all sorts of stuff going on there. So I thought I would share that as well. Music Cares is the website, musiccares.org. Link is in the chat. So please, if you can help them. If you know somebody who could do with that help, pass that on. Indeed. Excellent. Right, I'm going to go back to my list and talking about lectures. Not only are you going to be lecturing at Sheffield at Synthfest, October 4th, I believe, and I don't know, trying to work, I can't say really anything about it, but I might be doing a seminar as well, depending if we can get all the people in, or maybe the one person in, and yeah, so looking forward to that, sharing the stage with you. That'd be amazing. But you're also going to be lecturing, possibly in the what might be America's 51st state, if somebody has his way, in Calgary, in Canada.
Yes.
Which is a very special location where you're going.
Some of the connections with Steve Roach are also in Calgary and work at the museum there. So we were discussing going up there and having some accompanying lectures. One of the things that's wonderful, there's sort of there's already an exhibit there. There's no need
Yeah.
to bring instruments as well. And Tonto is there.
Yes.
Wow.
The Tonto, not as in Lone Ranger Tonto, but the incredible synthesizer. Do you know, I used to know what Tonto stood for, and it's gone completely.
Timbral.
I'm going to look it up. I'm going to Google it.
Orchestra. There's a timbre and an orchestra in there.
There is, yeah.
Numpty, tingly.
The original New Timbral Orchestra. There you go. That's Tonto.
New Timbral.
Malcolm Cecil and Bob Margoliouth. What a creation that is.
Can I tell you a really cute
Malcolm
Cecil story?
Oh, go on. Yeah, absolutely.
Malcolm lived about 20 minutes from me.
Mm-hmm.
And I met him with a bunch of expats at a house party, 20 odd years ago.
When you were 3.
And it was one of those, they were giving me a ride home and Malcolm and Polly a ride home. And oh my goodness, I'm introduced to Malcolm and he said, "Oh yeah, I know your dad. I'm like, you know my dad?" Were you? I hadn't heard of him, which is terrible. And this is an obsession I have with the unsung heroes, people that are behind the scenes, that have supported so many fabulous recording artists, because I believe that, producers are artists as well. And so I was just blown away. I'm sitting in a van with this very eccentric looking older gentleman with big shock of white hair with a British accent saying, "Oh yeah, I know your dad." Okay. And so I got to, see him on and off over the years. And he used to play in a jazz trio with one of my closest friends, who is a jazz singer, who teaches jazz vocals. So the first date I ever had with the person who's now my husband, Ruperto, we were at a gig where Malcolm Cecil was playing upright bass.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool, isn't it?
So I love the sort of weird synchronicity that the music world has, and there's, I think, it's like this invisible network everywhere, and which is fabulous. It is absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I had a similar experience when I was invited to go down to London to meet David Vorhaus, who is a seminal English electronic musician, and got taken into a room which was essentially the green room. I've never really been into a green room before. It wasn't green, I can tell you that much. But I went in there and somebody offered me a cup of tea, which is very British. And I sat down, I got David Vorhaus, and then as I'm looking around the table, I'm seeing all these faces, and there's basically half of the Radiophonic Workshop, the original Radiophonic Workshop in there. So yeah, Brian Hodgson was there, Mark Ayres was there, who looks after the Radiophonic Workshop now. I can't remember if Peter Howell was there, but yeah, it was just bizarre. And
wow!
And you just start, and it turns out Brian lives, just down the road from me, and he's retired and he looks after his garden, and we're sort of exchanging stories about Norfolk, and yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah, it's just weird, just really weird. Excellent stuff.
I've got a story like that because recently I met Kent Spong. And I was just going to ask, which brought me very nicely onto this, I was going to ask Kent. So Kent, we've talked a lot about all of the pioneers and all the brands that started out the synth industry. I just wonder, from your perspective, what is it that makes the ARPs, the ARPs, so special?
Spotlight on Spong.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just look at the 2600, for God's sake. One had the idea of having speakers built into a synth. How bloody useful was that?
Yeah.
Right? You could turn this thing on and you could immediately start playing it. No mucking about. Nobody had done that. Nobody had thought of doing that. I think that one of the things that irks me, and I'm not sure whether it should irk me because I'm not entirely sure of the story, but when I hear people say the Rhodes Chroma, under my breath I go, ARP.
Yeah. Yeah.
like that. And somebody told me something about what happened with the chroma, and actually, because I don't know how true the story is, so I don't know if I should continue. But your dad wasn't happy, as far as I understand.
With the original design.
No. With what happened to the chroma.
Oh, to the chroma. Okay.
Yeah. Because it got sold, didn't it? And your dad was not happy with the amount that they paid. Very well. It didn't even cover the developing costs, apparently.
But in addition to that, her dad, Alan was just a brilliant engineer. The fact that he was able to get the tuning on oscillators so stable. I mean, this was right back at the birth of this, before any of the other big guys were coming in. There was Dave Rossum, there was Bob, there was Alan, and there was I suppose Dave Smith came in just a little bit after, but he was just as seminally involved, and Buchler Don. So because you've seen a lot of ARPs, how significant do you think ARP has been to the industry as a whole?
Huge. It's semi-modular. You can plug it into just about anything in the room. You can run things through it. You can run it through things. It's got the original Mark 1 Tonus has that delicious filter. It really is gorgeous. Yeah. It's even the spring reverb I can tolerate. It's the only spring reverb on this planet I can tolerate. I hate the sound of spring reverb. But on the 2600, it's fine.
It was lush. It was gorgeous.
It had its red noise. Was it red noise? No. Was it red? No, it would be. It'd be red noise. It has red noise, which gives a much deeper growl in the noise generator than any other synth that has red noise on it. Its white noise is really powerful as well. It's stereo. How many mono synths were knocking around that were stereo?
Oh, that's right.
Let me think.
I forget
none.
That. Yeah.
Right? It had left and right outs and pan, right?
Yeah.
In 1970, I'm not the historian, as you could probably tell. 72, 73, right? So where everybody else is mono, you got the stereo synth with 3 oscillators, completely independent of each other, and a flick of a switch, link them together. You had 2 envelope generators. Well, it had an ADSR and it had an AR, and they were separate, independent of each other. It had ADSR repeat built into it.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, it was, in terms of the synthesizers that were coming out at the time, it was 1,000 years ahead of everything. It had so much more in it, and having the keyboard separate, which had its own set of controls.
Yeah.
Octave up, octave down. You could bring in modulation however you wanted. It was a fantastic machine. Such a brilliant design. And that was the thing about ARP. There was brilliant design. But the brilliant design wasn't there where you had to undo the bolts and open it and have a look and go, oh, look, brilliant design. You played it and went, this is a brilliant design. It came to you, And it was the same with the Odyssey. For a mono synth, a 2 VCO mono synth, there was so much facility on it. There's so much sliders to allow you to do various routing across that front panel that left a lot of other mono synths in the dust. It was almost like it was modular, but without patch cables.
Yeah.
Proper synths. ARP stuff was like. Yeah.
So it's absolutely right that we should be celebrating Alan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Celebrating your dad.
Yeah. I mean, maybe no more than, than Bob or, what's his name?
Don?
Dave.
Don, Dave. No,
Tom.
there's another guy.
Dave
There's another guy.
Rocketich.
Bode. Is it Bode?
Oh, Harold Boda.
Harold Boda.
Yeah.
Yeah, people like that. But the same as, but like,
yeah. Oh,
like has
absolutely.
been said earlier, you know, at one time a day you go to Google, you could put in Ron Perlman.
There's one other
nothing.
thing that I want to show this to you. I know I keep pushing this, and this is not
No.
details, but
Merchandising.
something that people don't know a lot about. Can you all say that again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to read it to you, but this is from 1948.
Wow.
Tech student brings new musical effects to electronic instruments. And so I will read this to you. A young Worcester musician engineer has found a way to bring new musical effects to electronic musical instruments. He's Alan R Pearlman, 23, of 15 Germain Street, a senior at Worcester Polytechnical Institute. What makes Artur Rubinstein sound like Artur Rubinstein? A good part of it is the touch with which that piano genius uses his instrument. And touch sensitivity is what is lacking in electronic instruments. With electronic organs and solo vox attachments, which give the effects of other instruments to a piano, you press a switch and the tones come in. It's like turning on a light switch, Pearlman said yesterday. 3-year search. I'm not going to read the whole article, but this article was written in 1948.
Wow.
And I think it's really important for people to know this, because he didn't just emerge in 1969 saying, oh, I'm going to, he was interested in electronic instruments and some of the issues that were at the time making people consider them kind of anomalies rather than normal.
Switches. Often people describe them as switches, but your dad was really focused on them being performance instruments, and that's really evident.
He was he was all about classical music and the expressiveness that is seen in a violin or a piano, where the emotionality is really coming through, and I think that's what he was hoping for to actually happen in his instruments.
I wonder what he would have made. I mean, I always think about it. I wonder what he would have made of instruments such as the Osmos or the Polybrute 12, with all of their added expression capabilities, to see that those things that he was, foretelling back in 1948 to have gone on to have happened, and then also gone beyond his original vision. That would have been pretty damn cool.
It just took them 35 years to get their finger out, really, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It was sitting around waiting for it, and it was not happening.
Yeah.
77 years later.
Yeah. And on that note, let's give Dina a break, and give ourselves a break. And we'll take a few minutes out of our evening to look at our latest episode of the wonderful Synthspirations. And if you don't know what Synthspirations is, we have a trailer for that. We want to know what music inspired you to make music with synthesizers. Be it an album, single, or an entire artist's body of work, we want you to tell us why it inspired you, and given that we're a synth show, which instruments used on that album really made an impact. All you need to do is film yourself talking about your synthspiration for a few minutes, and we'll feature it on the show and discuss it. Send your video clips along with your name or handle to prosynthnetwork@gmail.com using a file sharing service like WeTransfer, and you could feature on a ProSynth Network live show soon. It's true, you can. All you got to do is film.
Cool, yeah.
All you got to do is film yourself talking about the song, the album, the record, maybe even the concert that you went to and attended, that made you want to make music with synthesizers or electronic music technology. All you got to do is it doesn't have to be a fancy camera. It can just be your mobile phone. Just sit in front of it for a few minutes and tell us about those pieces of music, those artists that inspired you, and film it, save it as a file, send it to prosynthnetwork@gmail.com. Preferably use a file transfer service of some description, because they're generally large files that emails don't like. So use something like that, and send it over to us, and we will feature it on the show, just as we're about to do with the wonderful AD Vision. I saw him in the chat earlier, but here is AD Vision's Synthspirations.
Hello and welcome. This is AD Vision, and this is my Synthspirations. But don't worry, the vocoder won't be on all the time. So, some of the Synthspiration stuff that I done over the years, it's fairly recent, to be fair. I'm quite new to the whole thing. So, only been really started since lockdown. So unlike pretty much everybody else, I don't really have a background in the music industry or background in any kind of thing apart from computer programming and stuff like that. Anyway, these are some of the inspirations. That's more of a book. This book by Peter Hook about New Order. In fact, it's also the book prior to this, which was in Joy Division, which I realised that these guys basically had no musical knowledge, very little in the way of skill when they started off anyway. And I just thought, you know what, they could probably do that. But at the time, way back in the 80s, or even in the late 70s, it never even occurred to me that anybody could actually sort of do this kind of thing. Certainly not me. So some records, that one, yeah, I've had this since 1983. And it's just about managed to survive a flood in a cellar, cats, and other stuff that's happened over the years. So the other things, musical-wise, let's have a look. We have Simple Minds, which is the Sisters Feeling Call, which has got some great tracks on it, which is Theme for Great Cities, which is probably hardly anybody's ever heard of, but I love it. That's one of them. The Human League Unlimited Orchestra, which I think is still better than Dare in some respects. Ultravox, well, you can't really beat this album, can you, really? Vienna. I mean, the best one on here I like is things like Sleepwalk, Astrodyne, New Europeans, which I think is just ace. And then moving into some more darker territory, hopefully you can see it, is the Sisters of Mercy, First, Last and Always. So there's some, this has influenced some of my music of late. It's Black Planet, Marianne, Some Kind of Stranger, and last but not least, and sadly not the original, but it's a new release, one of Joy Division's Closer album. And well, there's basically two sides, and one side I'm not massively keen on, but some of them are all right, and the other side has got 24 hours and Decades on, and I think Decades is probably one of the most beautiful songs ever done. So that's kind of mostly of my inspirations. But prior to all this musical stuff, let's go, if I went way back to the 70s, I started playing violin when I was a kid, about 7, and played in an orchestra when I was about 11, very youth orchestra I used to play in. And then we moved up to County Durham when I was in 76, and in those years we didn't really do anything music-wise because there was no music at school, no school bands, and the local town was miles away because we lived in the middle of the countryside, so there was just gave up music basically all the way through the end of the 70s, all through the 80s and most of the 90s. And so even though I've liked electronic music ever since, since forever really, it never really occurred to me that I could play any of it, and I could never play keyboards, even though I had one now. And but I just, sort of fiddle about with it. But I suppose, so some musical knowledge. But in the later, towards the 80s and 90s, I got more into this kind of thing. Jazz, especially Miles Davis and some of the other stuff. I play saxophone as well, although I haven't played it for a good while now. And in Duke Ellington, this was a blues in orbit, which is a little different to the normal average big bandy type stuff that you would probably expect from Duke Ellington, but a lot of it is quite different, and much later on after the war. It was 1958, I think this was made or produced thereabouts in the 50s, and so well, there you go. There's a little bit of my synthpiration stuff for the stuff I do nowadays. Hope you enjoy. Bye for now. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
There you go. AD Vision, round of applause. Thank you very much indeed. That was a good 6 minutes.
However, better than Dare, outside in the car park, sunshine.
No, do you know, Unlimited, Love Unlimited. That's,
yeah, I know what you mean. I know.
The remixes. In fact, all of those albums, especially Simple Minds, Sisters of Mercy, all of that, they're all over there in the collection. They're absolute legends, every single one of them. Hope to need to get Mick McNeil back on some.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's brilliant that he's spent all those years not doing it because he thought he couldn't, and then only through lockdown, when he had some time and he bought a few bits, he suddenly realised he could do this. I think it's brilliant that he's a real recent practitioner, as it were, or music. He's just discovered it recently, but he's had like 30, 40 years before where he didn't realise he could. I'm just, hats off to you. Hats off to you. That was a good one. I hope it inspires others to do the same.
Absolutely.
Some great choices as well.
Indeed. And so, as I said before, if that inspired you to make some synthspirations, because it's all about inspiration, make your film, do your video, send it in. I apologise for the noise on that. I will, because what we do is we post all of these as individual clips on the Patreon and YouTube page. I'll run that through Isotope before we post it up there, just to clean that up a little bit. But brilliant one. So all you got to do is just film yourself, send it in to me, prosynthnetwork@gmail.com, use the file transfer service, and we'll get that shown next week. Got some old geezer with grey curly hair.
Not the Victorian Lego figure.
The Victorian Lego
Not
figure
him.
is good.
Don't have him on.
Yeah.
Not him.
He's him over there is going to be doing his synthspiration, the first one of the team to do their synthspirations. I keep writing my list down of what inspired me, and that list just gets longer and longer. I think we haven't got time.
That's the problem. And to be fair, I'm doing mine next week, but there's going to be 6 more of mine that will go on Patreon, because it's
maybe that's
much
what I should do as well.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just do like a greatest hits and then go into the in-depth.
Exactly that. Exactly.
Good idea. Yeah. And of course, don't forget, if you've already done one but you forgot, do another one.
Do another one.
That's fine. Dina, you'll have to do one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was there an instrument that inspired you to play? I mean, not necessarily synthesizers, because you're a bass guitar, aren't you? You're a bassist and other things. But what inspired you? What was the thing that you first heard that made? Yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh boy, I loved some of the bass lines of "Don't Laugh," Iggy Pop and the Stooges.
Oh yeah,
Some great bass lines there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of non-synthy influences, like the Cramps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh gosh, who else?
You're a proper punk girl, weren't you?
I was a proper punk girl, absolutely. What kind of music can I play that involves zero synthesizers? That was a goal of mine for a while.
Yeah, I bet.
People are shocked and upset when they hear that. And I said, but you understand I had to rebel somehow?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Whilst we were all rebelling by using synths, you were rebelling by not having it.
The other way.
The truth of the matter is that I loved so many different genres of music, and I loved a lot of the new wave, post-punk stuff, and nothing thrilled me more than to find out that stuff that I'd been listening to and dancing to, Depeche Mode, New Order, Joy Division, et cetera, used ARPs, and my head just exploded. I was so happy to hear this, and I loved all that music at the time as well. There's, I am really. It's very hard for me to say what influences me musically because I love so many different genres, and I listen to Bach. I listen to Ministry, and I'll do both of them without.
But does Bach ever listen to you? No, he doesn't.
Pardon?
He would be like this while I'm trying to play it. That's what he would be doing. Like, oh my goodness, this woman is torturing my music.
Oh dear. So 2024 was quite a year for you, and you put a video together. We won't show it in its full length here because we want to drive people to the channel to watch it over at the channel and then to watch all the other stuff that's over there. But I'll just throw it up onto the screen. So here we are. If you go to the Alan R Pearlman Foundation YouTube page, which is easily found just by typing in Alan R Pearlman Foundation, you'll find the year in review. What are you covering in here of this sort of 5 minutes?
Well, it's starting off with how the year started off with a 2500 in my basement studio, which was yay. Which it is no longer there. It is in our wonderful ARPS for All project at the Boston's Record Code, or also known as TRC. Yeah, and it's there for everyone to use. So we're going to have our first resident at the beginning of March. I'm so excited. Yeah, she's coming in first week of March.
Can you say who you chose? Can you give us a bit of information?
Gabriella, and I'm not remembering her last name. So I will have that answer for you after the next break.
No.
But we had over 50 entries, which is amazing. Had a great group of jurors who did not know who they were listening to, so it was a blind jury. I took all the applications, erased all the names, had them listen to the music and judge on merit, and yeah.
Mark III.
There's just some of the Andrew Ward.
There's Andrew.
Mark Doty. Ali Cassidy.
That's right.
I was speaking to Ali this morning, actually. Oh, and there's Stevie and
Lamar,
your husband. Yeah.
Rupert,
yeah, loads of cool things in this video. I thought that was Van Geth for a moment there.
It was so funny when that picture of Stevie. I'll tell you about it in a minute.
Yeah, but there's Greg. I mean, these two, they're a great double act, aren't they?
Oh yeah,
Greg and Anthony, they're just so funny together and so great.
It's perfect. He's a perfect foil for Anthony.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sorry, you can say about Stevie.
So the first time I went to NAMM as an adult in 2020, everyone was saying, well, Stevie will be here. He'll be here. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I wanted to meet him since I was a kid. And I would be looking around for him, and my booth mates would kind of tease me, said, he just went around the corner, Dina, but I never met him. And that was in 2020. So I missed him in 2023. I was off campus, so to speak. We weren't exhibiting. So 2024 comes around, and I'm not going to miss him this time. And I told my booth mates that if he ever came by and I wasn't there, text me. Mm-hmm. So it was the last afternoon. I had already met him, but he hadn't come by the booth yet. So I was all right. I'll take off a few hours and take a nap because I needed a nap. And I'm literally in bed, and my husband calls me and says, I think you better get to the booth right now.
Wow.
So I was literally in fast asleep in a nap. I don't believe I even have my glasses with me. I just literally ran out, without my glasses, without combing my hair, and just like, okay, you know. He was so gracious. He was really wonderful, and the
Yeah.
fact that he played all of our instruments,
Yeah.
he played all of them.
That's so cool.
Fantastic.
And I don't know if you showed the picture you showed before. He was playing a pro soloist.
Oh, yes.
Mm-mm.
This is fabulous. That particular pro soloist, and I mentioned this in the video, was later rented by Sony Pictures for the Saturday Night Live movie. Yeah.
Oh,
And
there
so,
it is.
yeah. And so that's Jean-Baptiste. He is portraying Billy Preston. And Billy Preston was the first recording artist on Saturday Night Live, or one of two, first band. And the actual picture, the actual recording of it is out there. You can find it. And it has Billy playing pro soloist. So that pro soloist is ours, and that's Jean Baptiste, and that's the same one that Stevie played on. So
Cool.
I don't know about you, but I always feel like when someone fabulous and famous plays an instrument, it gives that instrument a whole new sort of meaning, and so it was really
Billy Preston, what a player!
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so there's loads more stuff that's in the video. I won't spoil it. You know, that people can jump in there and reminisce over the ARP Foundation's year review of 2024. Let me just drop the link into the chat for everyone. There you go. Go and watch that later. Bookmark it and subscribe to that channel, of course, and give it loads of thumbs up. Right, so let's see, what have we got left on our list. Well, of course, the main thing really is, I mean, you're doing all of this fabulous work, but of course this fabulous work needs to be funded somehow, and of course you have people that you have donations coming in, you have people buying from the merch store, but there's going to be new stuff for people to buy in the merch store. I understand things that you have designed yourself. There's also something about accessories for modular synths and other things. I mean, how are you looking over, because you're having a bit of a fundraising drive this year, because it's quite important to get that funding in to do all of this stuff. How are you going about sort of raising money for the foundation this year?
So it's multifaceted. One of the things that we really encourage and that is so helpful are the people that actually subscribe. Right now it's through PayPal, where they do a monthly subscription, and we have people doing 5, 10, 20. That small amount every month is really a sustaining income, as you know, from Patreon, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And to have that small amount, and no amount is too small, a regular sustaining membership like that. We will be expanding to Patreon in the not too distant future, and anyone that's been subscribing normally will automatically have an option to join Patreon, and we will actually give them a sort of an onboarding gift if you've been already subscribing.
Cool.
Because there's been a lot of people that are in this audience today, actually. But we definitely not only could use, but we need to have a few more of those. Mm-hmm. It's been an exceptionally lean year, and I think it would be it would really help us to get these projects, such as the residency, to keep that up. We had a couple of wonderful sponsors for the residency: Black Corporation and Erica Synths.
Nice.
And Cherry Audio. So they were really helpful for that sponsorship.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So large sponsorships are always welcome, but of course, especially since there's such high need in other areas for people to give their money, we are happy for whatever anyone can throw our way, and the monthly sustaining is something I'd really encourage if people have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, it's a really good way of keeping just a regular flow, and it's you can see what's going to be coming in, and it will help you, make the purchases or invest the money at the right times. It's a really good way of doing it. And as I said at the top of our show, people can go in and they can set a subscription level, and if they're feeling a bit flush for a few months, they can raise it up, and then they can bring it back down again. So it's completely manageable, and there's non-contractual stuff, so you can just go in there. It's a really good one.
Anytime, of course.
Yeah, it's really good.
As far as the merch is concerned, so there are a lot of different interesting things are coming about. You've seen. I know you briefly showed the store. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't know, but I'm a graphic designer by trade. I was trained in fine art. It's the other side of my family. There's a painting of my uncles behind me. So I have a family of really special people, wonderful mentors in the music and art world. And so I have started playing around with using actual and imagined motifs of synthesis. So in the store, you'll see some pillows and coasters that are actually derived from schematics of the ARP 2500, because there's some beautiful patterns.
Oh, I gotta have some of that.
Yeah. So yeah.
There we go.
Because I've a lot of them just have, I think, enormous, interesting graphic appeal. There's a real beauty in a lot of the older technology, I think. Yeah.
There we go.
And of course, the colors are reminiscent of color schemes that we've seen on a certain brand of synthesizer. Yeah.
And different sizes as well.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And then the Pink Noise. There's also the Pink Noise series.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, and that I wanted to have some products that reflected women in synthesis a little bit more overtly.
Yeah.
And I was inspired by there's a woman named Analog Tara Rogers. Mm-hmm. She is an analog synthesist, educator, and she wrote a book called Pink Noises. And it's about women synthesists. And based on that idea, I came up with a sort of a representation of pink noise. On the back, there's a wave shape that I made. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there you go.
That's really cool.
Mm.
That's a great brand as well. Pink Noise. I love that.
Yeah. And there's more coming. There's a lot more coming. As I start to think about the next stage in my career, I really hope to keep focusing on visual design that could be used for apparel, and that will also be sometimes overlapping into the synthesizer world. So
I may have to get that T-shirt. It's so cool.
It is cool.
It really is. Yeah. Like
yeah,
that a lot.
Definitely. Yeah, so there's loads of great stuff that you can buy in the merch store, and obviously, your designs are going to be really, really cool. On your list that you sent me, there's one bullet point that says accessories for modular synthesizers. What does that mean?
Yes. Okay. So, what do modular synthesists need? There's a lot of different things that they need, and we are doing some commemorative items that we will brand with the ARP logo and the foundation logo. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what they're called, and next time we take a break, if there is a next time, I will. There's an image that was sent to me. I can send it to you.
Yeah.
Actually, this is very awkward, but I will do it anyway. Sorry. Here we go. Sending. Oh no, I don't have it here. Anyway, it's an item that you can put all your cables on.
Yeah.
It's like a star kind of.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. I know what you mean, but I have no idea what it's called because I'm not really into modular synths. Yeah.
One of those.
We could call it
Trevor. Gizmos.
Call it Trevor. There you go.
Is it's
I
one of
might
those
need
things.
3 or
It's
4
got
of them.
like six plug sockets on it, and you.
This one actually has more. I will try.
Oh wow! Okay.
Or I can post it in the comments after the show.
Yeah.
We're also patch cords themselves,
Nice.
and
Kent needs a few patch cords apparently.
Yeah.
He hasn't got
He's
that
an
many.
octopus.
I don't know what they're called either. The face plates that go into rack mounts where you have an empty module.
Yeah, blank plates. Yeah, yeah.
We're going to do our blank plates. So
Nice.
we're gonna, a bunch of different things like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Excellent. And you've talked about Patreon. Maybe some more instructional videos, sample packs, that kind of thing coming down the line.
Yeah. So we have several items in our store that we will probably take off and put into our Patreon. There's
Okay.
some sample packs by a gentleman named Christopher Bolt. He has gone into our ARPS for All collection and made samples from all the different, I shouldn't say all, but a good portion of the synthesizers there. And he's been selling these sample packs to, for producers and whatnot. So that will, we're going to incorporate that into our Patreon. But we are talking to some people about creating some more sample packs, something similar along the lines to what Alex Ball did.
Yeah, because Alex
The
is still in the
octopus.
I love it.
Octopus. There you go.
There we go. There we go.
Excellent. Well, I mean, it sounds like 2025 is going to be a really busy year, but you're going to need all the help that you can get. So please, if you've got a spare few dollars here, a spare few dollars there, do try and support Dina's foundation. It's a very special year, 100 years since the birth of her father. And, of course, everything that he was involved with needs celebrating and looking after and curating and, demonstrating and being talked about. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you in Sheffield. That would be great. And looking forward to, lots of people will be looking forward to the compilation albums and everything else. So lots of really great stuff there. So these things can only happen if we support them. So please do support them. I will throw the where's the link? Here it is, Alan R Pearlman Foundation.org. That's the website address, and then all you got to do is add the word donate to that, and it'll take you to the donation page where you can make a one-off donation. But of course, when the Patreon goes live, we should all be signing up to that and just sending a few bucks Dean's way. I mean, we were talking the other day, and you mentioned that if all the followers was on your Facebook group donated $1, that would be a significant amount of money for you, wouldn't it?
$1 a month. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
That'd be fantastic, and then you can start making proper plans. Yeah.
And am I right in thinking, and I might be wrong, so you've got the Arts for All thing, which is happening at your premises now, or at the studios you've got, where people come along and they do a residency, and you're making all these things available. I know that you can't do it now because you've got to get the foundations in for the foundation as it stands where you are. But I think that in the future you aspire to be able to export that model or to have that model replicated elsewhere in the world as well. Is that right?
Yes. I have a wonderful dream of taking this model to like Willem Twee, which is a wonderful studio in the Netherlands that has both modern and vintage modulars, including a wonderful 2500 system. Up in Calgary, because in Calgary it's not just a museum, but you can use the instruments as well. MEAP on the West Coast, and I've muttered these words to just about everybody at some point, and everyone said that they would love to be involved, if the circumstances work out well. So the idea is to have grants for people to come in and use the modulars or use any of the vintage synthesizers to do a dream project with instruments that they wouldn't ordinarily have to use at their disposal. And we would fund, their room and board, their recording all the recording costs, and we would give them all the educational materials needed in order to be able to handle the instruments properly.
Yeah, I think it would be, I keep my fingers crossed that maybe something like that can happen here as well, because there are some real enthusiasts and some very strong collections over here that might be tempted. We just need to push them a little, I think. But
Definitely would love to learn about those collections. Sure.
Yeah.
This place in Calgary, is it the National Music Centre?
Yes.
I want to go there because there's an instrument there. I'm just going to go completely off tangent here. But, I like big, rare instruments. And there's one there called the Maclavia, which was a Canadian development. It was a bit kind of... It was kind of like in the same league as... I'm not going to say the Fairlight, but maybe the Fairlight. More like the Synclavia. But it was this computer-based big instrument. Like only one of them exists, and it's there. And I really want to go and see it, but I need an excuse to get to Calgary. So when you're there, have a look for the Maclavia, designed by a guy called David Maclay. So I don't think he was trying to rip off the Synclavia name. But yeah, that just popped into my head when you said Calgary. So anyway, so we got about 15 minutes left. There's not a huge amount of news that's happened this week, so we'll just do a little kind of run through of things just to make people aware, if they weren't already, that a few things have happened. But of course, we've got NAMM coming up in a couple of weeks, so everyone's saving things up till the end of the month. I know this because I'm having to sort of like backlog all this stuff when I'm writing articles for Gear News and stuff. But one thing that came out today, which isn't hugely synthesizery, but it looks rather cool. I always think this. It's the new Nord Organ 3, which is the big double manual keyboard and organ with Hammond and Farfisa simulations. What else is in it? It's got a few others in there as well. It's got the Hammond B3, the Farfisa, and the Vox, of course. 2 pipe organ emulations in there as well. I mean, it looks a magnificent thing. I would sound absolutely terrible playing this, but if you are into double manual organs and you don't want to be carting a genuine Hammond around with you, and I'm sure Tiny probably thinks this is awful, but it's not a bad price actually for what you get. I mean, it's what's it, 3,222 UK. Begins shipping in May. It's an organ, at the end of the day. But it's a lovely sounding thing. Any thoughts on this one before we quickly move on? Anyone got any?
Somebody's on the central visitors for Dina.
No, Dina's private messages coming through. Let's move on swiftly. This one is cool. This is the Egan Matrix Micro. Let me just get rid of that banner off the screen because it's hiding up there. So this is an Egan Matrix, which is essentially one of the synth engines in the Osmos in a tiny little box. I mean, it really is tiny. It's really, really small. And that's the only display you get on there. So it's just flicking through. It's kind of like a preset machine. But you can use a computer-based Harken editor on this to create and edit and save presets on there. It's not a cut-down version. It's the full 8-voice synth engine.
Wow.
Contains all the Matrix modules, such as the 5 oscillators, 5 multi-well filters, 2 filter bank shape generators, etc., etc. I mean, it's the same thing, but in a lovely, lovely, dinky little box. How much does this cost? I don't think there's a price for it yet. Oh, there you go. $449.
$449.
For all of that synth power in that box.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That's astonishing.
However, I've got to say, and I'm sure Wagyu, if I'm just going to go to the comments, if Wagyu hasn't lost his tiny little mind over the fact that it's still using mini USB even, and not USB-C, I don't understand that. Why? That's just
that is a bit of a
it powers
shake-fisted clouds moment.
Yeah, but USB-C can do all the power. And
yeah,
stuff.
I know, but they like to have a different shape for ones that carry power.
Well, I suppose.
That's why battery chargers still have them and stuff like that.
I don't buy that as an excuse anymore.
Well, it depends if you try to plug your charger into your computer.
Apparently he loves mini USB. He hates micro USB. He's a fussy old.
They break and they fall out, and I hate them as well.
Yeah, I've never liked
USB-Cs do that as well.
I don't like them.
No, I prefer USB-C. I mean, yeah, it's small, but at least it seemed a lot sturdier. Anyway, we're going off the point here.
There was nothing wrong with XLR.
It wasn't true.
There was no need to move on.
Yeah.
So essentially, for $4.49, if you've got an Osmos, you can double the polyphony.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, can you polychain them? That would be an interesting one.
I don't know, but I'm tempted by
Oh,
this.
sound crap across 16 notes. Cool.
But you can marry this up with other MP3 controllers, such as the Hacken Audios.
You've never liked that Synth. I like.
I don't know. I don't get on. I didn't get on with the keyboard, and I didn't massively go for the sounds myself.
Okay.
Not my thing. Just not my
I'm
thing.
going to have a look at that. I'm definitely going to have a look at that.
In a somewhat connected release,
Ooh.
Christoph, and I won't try and pronounce his name. Is it Dequesne?
No, don't try and pronounce it.
No. He's a member of our Facebook group, so I don't want to insult him. But he's brought the Loris synth, which is the power of resynthesis, to the Egan Matrix instrument. So this is to specifically Egan Matrix instruments. You can use your own samples with the Loris synth as featured. That instrument was featured in the soundtrack to Dune 2.
Yeah.
So it's a very powerful instrument, and if you don't, was it Christoph that invented the Hacken Continuum? Was that him, or I know he's closely associated with those things. But anyway, before I make any wild accusations, so you got the Hans Zimmer stuff there, and the price is $89.99. It's available on the Mac OS App Store. It's currently only available for Apple. Windows version is in the works. A Windows version is coming.
Good.
But you do need, you must own an Egan Matrix equipped instrument, such as the Continuums, the Continuum Minis, the modules, and the Osmos, of course. So we'll work on those. So very interesting. And there's a really nice video which I won't play because it does go on. It's a lot of talking, but Christoph does a nice introduction and sort of takes you through the technical aspect. And this stuff is pretty kind of mind blowing, but it's good stuff.
Pop a link in.
Pop a leaky.
You pop a link into the chat if you don't mind.
Let's see, where are we? There we go. And apparently he didn't invent the Hacken Continuum, but I think he's closely associated with it somehow. I can't remember. He's developed the engine. There you go. Thank you, Steve Elvos. So yeah, there's the link in there for the app. Right. Was there anything else? Well, there was. Do you know my wallet has been quivering? It has been loosening.
You call it your wallet, do you?
Yeah, the only thing that stopped me from doing this at the moment is knowing that I would pay somebody some money now to buy this, and I would have to wait months for it to arrive because I think Wagyu got his today. He said he was getting his today. The first batch from Thomann shipped, and I know my editor at Gear News got his today, so I think Wagyu got his as well. There you go. Yeah, he just said. Apparently he's just opened the box during the show. So there was this thing that Roger Lynn popped his head above the parapet. He doesn't do it often, but he did on his website, and he left a message on there, basically kind of making some comments on recent Lynn drum recreations, the LM drum from Behringer, which has just been released, and of course G-Force's Icon drum, which was a software version of that said instrument. And Roger wasn't disparaging, but he wasn't entirely supportive of either project, really, which was a little odd, particularly in the for the G-Force thing. But he did note that both Uli and G-Force approached him with different offers, shall we say, different approaches to sort of asking for collaboration and that sort of thing, and Roger basically said, look, the past is the past, and I want to keep looking forward, which is admirable. And of course, Roger has always looked forward and looked to change the way things go. But he did. It was an interesting insight, especially when he said that he took apart the hardware, the Behringer hardware, and was a little bit confused by the fact that not only had they borrowed the visual style, but as far as the internals were concerned, they basically replicated the sound generation circuit, including things, bad ideas as well. So it was an interesting piece to read, and he just basically said, yeah, fine, whatever. Not going to get into litigation. That's not my thing. I don't think we can question the legality, but you can't question the morality, or the ethics of it all. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Let's go to Kent. Any thoughts on Roger's comments or these instruments themselves?
Behringer stole IP. I'm shocked.
Indeed. Yeah. But they also released a video. Have you watched the new video? Which is like a full-on demonstration of the unit.
Yeah, I watched one. Yeah, where they were playing some bits and pieces. Can't get away from it. It's very, very good, and it's incredibly cheap.
Yeah, £325 from Thomann at the moment.
Yeah,
with free shipping. I mean,
but I mean, this is the dilemma that keeps arising for. I mean, there's people who don't give a crap, and that's fine. But for people who do, then there is this dilemma of, there's a lot of underhanding and naughtiness that goes on from the Behringer neck of the woods, and yet the products that they are producing and the prices that they're producing them at is acceptable. And it's this thing again about somebody who hasn't got two openings to rub it together can get their hands on this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of just their tongues hanging out, outside the music shop window, going, "Oh, one day I might own something like this," So there's that. But yeah, you know what it's like. But it sounds very, very good. For the money. It's for the money. Whether it has, because this come up in the pub yesterday about, you can't have something very, very cheap and have longevity. No. Or support, for that matter. Yeah. In many cases. And so but because it's not costing so much, maybe the fact that it might not have the longevity of its original counterpart doesn't really matter to the same degree. I mean, if you're spending £5,000 on something, you want it to last. If it's 400 quid, if it lasts, 6 years before it needs something done to it, you go, yeah, cool, yeah. Take that.
Buy cheap, pay twice.
It's that kind of thing. So
they say, yeah.
Yeah, spread the cost.
Yeah. I mean, I
think generally, bottom line is, I mean, the prices of the original Lins, it's like, Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about it the other day.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
A Lin drum, which is what this is based off of, probably anything between 5 to 10, depending on condition. But the LM1, the original baby, 10 grand and upwards for a fully operational, decent quality one. The Luma one, which I think is an incredible machine, made by some incredible people, and of course has Roger's backing.
Yeah.
4.5.
Yeah, exactly. So 400 quid, and when you consider how close to that original you're getting, and at least getting the experience of using that as well.
Yeah, and of course
it makes it very, very well worthwhile. Bottom line.
I mean, this Behringer's recreation of it has sampling as well, so you can put your own samples in, either import the audio or actually sample directly into it, and it's got variable bitrate DACs, so you can crunch it up, and it's got some effects on there, and so
You could put teenage engineering samples in it.
Perhaps. You could. But what I was going to say was, the Lindrum samples have been available on so many sample libraries, or freely available left, right, and centre. The Lindrum samples are everywhere. There's also plugins already out there. Ali James VPROM, which is very, very good. And is only like 40 or 50 euros. It's absurdly cheap. And now, of course, you've got the GeForce one as well, which is a lovely thing. Andrew, do you think there's too much nostalgia with these things?
If people want to buy it, then no. If people want to buy instruments, we buy. People before synthesizers were buying old pianos and old, Stradivari. Stradivari costs a lot of money, and so no, nostalgia isn't a bad thing. And actually, reading the article by Roger, he doesn't out and out slate it.
No.
And we're getting lots of people that are beginning to get these, and they're all saying, you know what, it's pretty good, and for the money, it's amazing. Also, I should point out that they did offer to pay him.
They did.
They talked to him, and they did offer to pay him. I think probably a derisory stake on.
Behringer didn't offer to pay him. They offered. They asked him if he would work with them on something else, but I don't think there was any mention of. I can't remember now if there was any mention. But GeForce definitely did.
I was looking at the article. It looked like, but regardless, he declined for his own reasons, and that's fine. He always looks forward. The fact is, at the price, it's a good thing, and yet we've no idea how long it will last, whether or not it will break in 5 minutes or it will last forever. We don't know because it's too soon to say. But it's a hell of a thing for the money. It's a hell of a thing,
Yeah.
Regardless, we've done the Behringer thing to death in terms of their practices. The fact is they are turning out instruments that people otherwise couldn't afford them can buy, and what do you do?
Indeed. I mean, I was saying yesterday that I'm a massive Lindrum fan. I love the sound, I love the groove and everything about it. And when this was first announced, I was like, oh God, I might have to buy something from Behringer because I really, really want this. And there's no way I could ever afford an original. I would take me a while to get anywhere close to affording the Luma 1, which is a beautiful machine. There was one at Synthfest this year. Mike Gorman brought one because you can buy it in kit form and build it yourself. And he'd done that, and it's just gorgeous, and it sounds it's spot on. Everything about it is identical, but it's got all the modern benefits of USB and replaceable parts and what have you. And they can also a lot of those parts can be used to keep originals going as well, which is a really nice touch.
Well, nostalgia has always been a thing for the rich, anyway.
Yeah,
right. Whether it be cars, coins, stamps, paintings, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And this nostalgia thing does generate its own pricing structure, and it leaves everybody else out in the cold. So at the end of the day, this kind of thing obviously is welcomed.
One little small point. This is because it's a sample based instrument. It's going to be hard for it to be bad, right? Because it's that's. Whereas, and I will be really upfront about this, I wouldn't buy personally the Behringer 2600 clone because it doesn't sound like a 2600.
No.
The Korg thing does. So and I that's something which I'm still going, especially after Anthony's done his thing, done the tutorials. Anthony Marinelli's just got me going. I've got to have a 2600.
This is the good thing about being a synth repairer is I can play other people's.
Yeah.
This is true. Anyway,
fine by me.
We are at the top of the hour, and it's time to say goodbye. Dina, always a pleasure. Always a joy to have you on the show. Thanks ever so much for telling us all the stuff that you've told us that's going to be happening this year. So just to remind people, there's going to be compilation albums. There's a concert event and exhibition, hopefully at NAMM in August at the museum in Carlsbad.
And EMEA.
And then also the one at EMEAP as well. There's the lecture in Calgary. There's a lecture at Synthfest in Sheffield in October. There's new merch coming with your designs and other synth stuff. There's also modular accessories. Patreon's coming later this year with a whole bunch of extra benefits and that. So, of course, everyone can donate to the foundation through the webpage. We had the link. Let's just put the link up there. It is again, alanrpearlmanfoundation.org/donate. Go in there and give some of your hard-earned to Dina. Yeah, absolutely. And I guess you're preparing for NAMM now, aren't you? Getting ready to go there and get the booth up and
for NAMM.
Yes, we are. It's.
Have you got another little crew helping you? Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Oh gosh, yes. So my husband will be there again.
Cool.
Ricardo. Stephen DeJesus, who is our going to be joining our board. He's been an amazing volunteer for the past year and a half, helping people at the Record Co. And let's see, Andrew Joyce, aka.
Oh, yes. Our very own Andy.
Yep, he'll be coming by. He'll be spending a day with us. Also, Tony Norton, who works with Martin Gore, he'll be spending a day with us.
Nice.
Our board members are going to be coming in and out. I think the people that'll be Chris Meyer, who's also helping coordinate the compilation effort with Steve Roach.
He's a lovely guy. I love Chris.
He is wonderful. And Drew Schlesinger. He'll be joining us as well. Nice. Allie Cassidy.
Oh, the brilliant Allie.
Yes, she's going to be joining.
Is she driving down there in her bug?
She's in her bug. I certainly hope not for 6 hours.
Yeah.
No. That's nowhere near ready yet.
No.
That's got a long way
It's a lovely car, though.
I think the Alfa Romeo.
It's got a little way to go yet.
I think it's going to be the Italian luxury car is going to be coming down. Sports car. Who else? I know I'm missing somebody, and I'm. Oh gosh.
Well, people can come along to that.
Brian Kehoe.
Brian.
Ryan Hawkins, who he's the guy with the blue meanie.
Yes.
We did an interview with him a couple of years back, and he's been a regular now at the trade shows. He's got a wonderful collection. He's a really, really sweetheart of a guy, and he's been helping us out at trade shows now for several years. I am part of the Sound Synthesis Club now.
Hurrah! Me too. Well done.
And I'm very excited because it's going to be the first NAMM in a long time that I'm going to have a bunch of my women friends there. Lisa Belladonna will be there.
Oh, fantastic.
Michelle, Cynthia DJ Cherish, Allie, of course. So there's going to be a bunch of us together. So that's going to be really fun.
Sisters with Transistors.
Oh, and Julie Lewis, Don Lewis.
Oh, yeah, Julie. Oh, say hi.
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
Please say hi. Say hi to all of them because I love them all. I loved hanging out with Lisa Super. I'm hoping she might come back this year, but who knows? We'll see. But yeah, please say hi to all of them.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you ever so much, Dina. We love having you on. You can come back anytime. You're always welcome. Don't have to ask. Just barge in. We'll let you in. Yeah. Pull up a chair. Great to see you. Everybody, if you're going to NAMM, look out for Dina. Go and say hi. Go and support the stand. And please support the Alan R Pearlman Foundation. Links are in the description.
I do want to say if there's anyone from LA that is hurting for money, we have a few passes left. I'm happy to make get some. So if you email the foundation before midnight, I probably will be asleep by 11 Eastern time. But you can try to reach out to me. I'm happy to. I think a lot of us are feeling very helpless seeing our beloved community get so devastated. So please reach out any way that we can help.
And there's the website again for Music Cares, and I'll put the link in the chat. So if you're able to help them, or if you're looking for help and you're in the area, the LA area, and you need some help when you're in the music industry, there it is. So yeah, brilliant. Thank you ever so much, Dina. Really appreciate you coming on, taking the time. We love having you. Thank you very much indeed. Don't forget that there are loads of other streams going on. So we've got Symptoms of Reality. We'll be doing their popcorn night shortly after we finish. Then tomorrow you've got Andy Synchrotron doing his live stream at 10 a.m. UK time. You've also got Ramsey at 1 p.m. UK time. And then on Sunday, Saturday and Sunday, you've also got Symptoms of Reality. But also Sunday, you've got Jason Jervis or Get Jervis jamming in Jim Jams with Jackson. But before that, it's the wonderful return of Jamie Morden, Geosynths, back on a Sunday doing a whole sound design thing with the Groove Synthesis Third Wave, no less, which he's just taken delivery of.
Ooh.
So he's going to be doing some stuff with that.
And isn't Manny doing something in that sort of in the gap there somewhere? I think Manny.
I don't know. Is he
Dr. Manny?
He's probably gone back to work now. I know he was in the chat, but he's probably gone back to work.
I saw him post something about doing some sort of thing about loops, about feedback.
Oh, okay.
He's going to do a little something. It's going to slip in between all of those things somewhere.
There we
so
go. Well, yeah, just look for Dr. Synth on YouTube, and I think that's his sort of FM like tutorials that he's doing.
I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, because he's rather good at that.
He is a bit.
Looking forward to seeing him at Superbooth because he's bought his tickets, so that's really great. So yeah, loads of stuff to watch. We are just a small part of a much larger community, and be nice to these people as well.
Yeah.
Don't be nasty because there's a bit of that going around. We're not going to go into depth, but be nice to people.
Be nice, and thank you, Symptoms of Reality, for your very kind welcome last night. You are lovely people. That was good fun.
There we go. We will be back same time, same place next week. I don't know if we're going to have any special guests, but we will have a Synthspirations from that guy over there. So if you want to know what inspired him, and they were actually making music when he was younger. They did have electricity back then.
No,
we didn't. No.
Oh, okay.
It was beating the rocks together, banging the rocks together.
There you go. Well, if you want to find out, pop along next week, and we've got that. And hopefully we'll have a bit of news. Hopefully we'll start seeing some of these new things popping out before now. But we'll be back same time, same place next week. Once again, massive thank you to Dina Pearlman for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And we will see all of you very soon. In fact, in 7 days' time. Have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe. And we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Au revoir.
Whoa.
Au revoir.